just did the psoas on this side. We're going to flip over and we're going to do the psoas again on the other side. Now there's two ways to work the psoas. So the first one I'm going to have you do is I'm going to have you stay on your side. Okay. And I'm going to take this off for just a sec. And this one is one of those where you want to be very careful with your body mechanics. And so what I'm going to have him do is I'm going to turn my body to the side. I'm going to have you slide your hips back towards me. Good, just like this. Hip to hip, side to side. And what I'm going to have you do is I'm going to have you bend the top leg just a little bit, and this is more for the bottom leg, just for stability. And the top leg you're going to straighten and slide back towards me. Now, remember, the psoas is here. So, and I'm going to have him do most of the work. I'm just going to support the knee. I'm going to push right here gently as I bring the stretch back. Can you feel that in your psoas? Mm-hmm. So really kind of easy. I'm not using a lot of strength to do this. He's doing most of the work. I'm just guiding the movement and putting a little push in here because this is a fulcrum, right? And we're pushing along or around the fulcrum. So that's one way to get this stretch. This is maybe an easier one if A, the table is too high, or B, you're not feeling terribly strong that day, because this is not bad. You can even put the elbow into your forearm if it's a little easier for you. And then come back down. Okay, so decent stretch, right? Mm-hmm. Oh, pretty good? Mm-hmm. Okay, let's turn all the way over.
So face down?
Face down. And then I showed you this one last time, but we're just gonna kind of go in sequence. And so we're gonna do the truncated version of this.
Would we do both psoas, or would you do either psoas?
Oh no, I would do both. This is why this whole technique takes an hour.
Okay.
It's because you're gonna want to even things out. Okay. Now you're gonna put the great bulk of the work into the affected side, but at the same time, if you do want to do a little bit at least on the other side, so that things are about even down. Okay, so kick into my hand. Good, release. This won't take long because you're already pretty loose. Good, kick into my hand. And release. Remembering that the whole goal of this first part of this technique is just to take the quadriceps out of it. Good, one more time.
Are you just holding him down?
Mm-hmm. And then come on back down. Good. Now, keep in mind, if you're doing things in sequence, his quad should already be somewhat loose, right? Because of the stuff we did around the knee. So that should make this piece much easier. So what I'm gonna have you do is I'm gonna bring your leg down for just a second. I want you to slide your hips a little bit more towards me. Perfect, just like that. Good. And then we're gonna go right into that stretch. So the first stretch is going to be, you're gonna tuck underneath, you're gonna give it a little pull, and you're gonna slide your knee onto the table. So what you're gonna have them do then is, without contracting your quadriceps or as much as possible, I want you to use your hip flexors to bring your knee into the table. So what I'll say is I want you to drive just this part of your knee into the table. Try not to kick with your foot, okay? Drive your knee. Good. I'm gonna have them drive for approximately 5 to 10 seconds. If they fatigue out, that's perfectly fine. So 4, 3, 2, 1, release. If they're too tight, you can do this, the first one, directly on the table. So you don't need to do the elevation. This will be the second one. The last one, or the second one, if they have a lot of flexibility, is just going to be bringing your arm underneath. You see how this is going to get you about 3 inches, yep. And then go ahead and drive that knee in again. And remember, this is all about the psoas. So in between the drive, so drive, 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 and then slowly release. Take a couple breaths and really concentrate on letting that hip fall to the table. So the psoas is going to still be kind of short potentially, and what we want to really do is make sure that their hips are slowly starting to kind of drift down, and that's going to give us that fulcrum stretch like we did when he was on his side. So we're just going to kind of let this sit, couple breaths, really see if that hip is going to drop a little bit more. If you don't see it dropping anymore, you can go on to the last one, if you can. Now keep in mind, this is one of those, this gets into a little bit more strength kind of thing. So you see where his arm is? It's by my elbow.
His what?
See where his knee is. By my elbow.
Okay.
So I'm using my body to lift higher. I'm not using the extremity here. So I'm going to lift just a little bit higher, and I'll have you go one more time down to the table. Drive, drive, drive. Now he's got a lot of flexibility. A lot of people, you won't be able to get anywhere near this high. Good. Keep driving. Keep driving. Keep driving. and then release.
I feel like you should put a normal 57-year-old body on the table like mine and see what that looks like.
You said you were taking notes.
I am, but this is so complicated. I'm like, I can't write that down.
It's okay. She's got the video. It'll help. Okay, good. All right. So,
What do you call this one? I put it so as client prone.
yep, that's really kind of what it is.
Okay.
And then, you know, as you come out of it, just move slowly as always. Good. Okay. So, we just finished with psoas. You're not going to be able to do too much. The origin of the psoas is right here at T12, right? So anything you work in that kind of QL area, and then here you're going to get some traction on that psoas origin. Okay, so the next piece that I'd like to do is go into the QLs. And for the QLs, it's kind of easy. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing some toe taps. So if you can pass me the bolster there, or good, okay. And so the bolster is going to come underneath the feet. Now what you're going to have them do, so we're working on the left glute right now. So the toe taps are going to be for that low lumbar area. It's going to look like this. So if we're tapping from this leg, the first thing you're going to have them do is bring their other leg closer to the center of their of the body, because they're going to be tapping across. And so you don't need them to go like super far, and you don't want to put too much extra strain into the low back. So from here, you're going to start with your normal warm-up stuff, right? You're going to do a little cross fiber. You can do some effleurage if you'd like. This is also about kind of seeing what side is worse, right? You're just going to kind of feel through and kind of see what we really need to work on. So this side is actually a little bit looser. We should probably work on this side, but for the video, we're going to stay on this side. Okay, so we've already brought the leg to the center. I'm going to find that posterior hip. Again, we're going to use that approximately 1 inch rule from the attachment. So I'm going to slide up, and then I'm going to rotate into it. So I'm going to take that tissue slack.
You're talking about the attachment of the QL?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And then I'm going to have him straighten the leg, and you're going to tap to the other side of the body. Tap, tap. He's doing all the work, I'm just guiding. And we're going to do this 10 times, so 10 taps. I lost count. I don't know where we are.
9, 10.
Beautiful. Okay. Thank you. All right.
So you're just putting in compression?
Yep, that's it. So, and it is an upward bearing compression. So
Yeah, it felt really good too.
right? It's a really good stretch, and it's one of the best ways, in my opinion. I haven't seen another way to really get an active stretch on that psoas or on the QLs in a different way. So, if you guys know of one to get deeper than that, let me know. Okay, so perfect. So now the QL is done. So then we can start moving into our glutes, and this is going to be a 2-part, because we talked last time about that wedge and the 3/4 turn, and then doing the work that way. The step before you get to that is going to be working the individual muscles from a passive state. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to loosen things up. I like circles. Circles are good because these fibers go in a whole bunch of different directions, and we're just warming up the tissue. Now, when I'm doing this warming up, I'm actually moving in a way that's going to be really similar to the next step I'm going to do. So as I'm doing my circles, the greater trochanter is right here. So I'm pushing up in circle, pushing away in circle, pushing away in circle. So I'm pushing away from those origins all the way around, okay? So that's kind of what that is. All right, so next we're going to go into our actual movement. So this is again passive. Our movement is going to be this. Rocking side to
You
side.
got your thumb in the...
Oh no, we're going to use elbows. So I want you to be thinking about 3 angles. So 3s you'll hear a lot from me. 3s are easy to remember. 3 things are easier than a bazillion. So we're going to be going straight up through the QL, or through the QL, from the straight through the TFL. Then we're going to go diagonally through the glute med and the piriformis. And then we're going to go straight across, and that's going to get us our gemellas and obturators. Okay, so, and
Did you
because we
say
use,
straight up?
what's that?
You said TFL, diagonal to glute median piriformis, and what?
Yep, and then straight across is going to be gemellus and obturators. Good. So we're going to start diagonally first. So we're going to find our greater trochanter. We're going to find that 45-degree angle towards the top of the sacrum. I'm going to start in a closed or shortened position, like bringing the leg over. I'm going to go in right off of the trochanter. I'm going to take up tissue slack, and I'm going to pull across. We can see how this works, right? So as you're pulling the attachment away, you are getting that elongated stretch.
That is wild.
Mm-hmm. Same thing here. If you want to just come on down, you can get this guy right quickly. And then I'll show you the difference when we get to the TFL. Because again, where the TFL is, coming out is not going to get any real change. But from that out position, all you're going to see me do is I'm going to shift positions. I'm going to slide forward and down, and then I'm going to come across. Now I'm doing cross fiber across that muscle, and I'm going to wait. So you see how far it's going, right? I'm not really pushing, I'm stabilizing. And I'm just keeping the same position and waiting for his muscles to let go. And I'm going to put just body weight pressure into his lower leg here with my hand. And we just wait. And it's slowly releasing. You can feel it releasing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just slow. This is the TFL is one of those, great hip stabilizers, like the glute med. So this sometimes just takes a little bit of time. You can see it's just going down nice and slow. Slow, 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 slow. Until we're all the way through it. Do, do, do. Of course, I might be covering a little bit on the pants. Good. Whew. Aha.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so we did, again, TFL. We did we did piriformis, and then we came right over here, and then we did gemellus and obturator. So that's the setup for that 3/4 turn. So let's grab a quick pillow, and we'll go over that one more time.